Hey, what is going on, guys? I am very excited because the MGSD line is back here. Well, it didn't go anywhere, but we got a new release in the MGSD line, which I'm a big fan of, and you guys should be too if you've still not yet tried out this line. I don't know what you're waiting for, but do please try it out at some point. Even if the Destiny isn't your jam, you should definitely try out the line. I'm really looking forward to the Kshatriya, which is the next one. That'll be awesome, but let's go ahead and check out the Destiny Gundam here for today's video. Alright, so right off the bat, some awesome box art here with the Wings of Light, which are going to be included in here, so that's awesome to have those effect parts included. But the illustration on here looking very cool of the Destiny, very detailed to match the detail of the kit there, of course. And on the ends of the box, going to be the same thing. You can also notice it's quite the thick box. There's going to be a fair amount of stuff inside here. Bottom side is going to have a bunch more details and images of the kit in different poses, talking about the weapons, details of the articulation, or you can see about the Wing of Light effect parts. You can put it in a kneeling pose, you can put it in a sword slashing pose, you can do all sorts of great posing with these. And on the other side of the box, here's a front and rear view of the full kit and of the inner frame on its own. There's also a little bit about the clear and plated silver parts and all that, and just about the kind of MGSD line in general. But we're, of course, plenty familiar at this point, so let's go ahead and pop it open and check out everything in here. Yeah, it is quite the full box, and the instruction manual looks really cool there. I love the kind of glow effect there on the eye. You got some stats over here on the side, almost sort of looking like a HGUC manual, just with a layout, but obviously this is just like a CG render there. Does look really cool. Backside features our painting guide. It's pretty standard Gundam colors for the most part, with the addition of like the light blue and the dark green there for those parts on the backpack. Some detail images down here at the bottom as well. On the centerfold pages here, we've got a whole bunch more eye candy to look at, with information there that's in Japanese and in English too, which is nice. So there's all of that. On the other side here, some more just about the weapons and gimmicks built into the weapons and all that in the frame there again as well. All right, back to the front inside cover pages. Here we've got our parts list there, and other than that, I'm guessing it's just going to be pretty much just construction. Not really too much else to see here. It is going to let us know which runners are required for each step of the build, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, I don't think really too much else to go over. It's just all of the construction, how to utilize the weapon gimmicks should be here at the back. Everything as well. We've got our decal guide, kind of the marking decal guide here on the last page there, which we've got in here somewhere. Let's check those out. And it's unfortunately just your standard sticker decal sheet, which is normal for the line. Would have been nice to have waterside decals. I believe waterside decals are already available for this if you wanted, but these are going to be on here mostly in white with a little bit of gray, a little bit of red on there. There's definitely some cool markings and logos on there, so I just think that water slides would definitely look nicer than the sticker decals. So checking out the runners then here. Runner A is in 4 colors. You've got some dark green over there, our molded silver parts here, yellow and clear green up there in the corner. Runners B1 and B2 are going to be all of our blue parts here, with this middle section right there overlapping like that. Whereas C1 and C2 going to be most of our not white armor. It's the off-white, kind of light gray color here in the case of the Destiny, with that middle section there overlapping once again. Whereas D1 and D2 parts here in red, again with the majority of the runner there overlapping in the middle. And then runners E1, E2, and F are going to all be here in this dark brownish gunmetal kind of color here for the inner frame and mechanical type parts there is runner E1 and E2. And then we've got 2 of runner F here for the rest of those frame parts. Runner G1 is going to be some parts here in black, mostly for the backpack there. Runner G2 is going to be some parts here in a light gray color. Runner H1 is some more parts here in light blue, mostly for the sword there. And then we've got our clear parts. Runner H2 here in this iridescent clear blue, looks really nice, and I'm gonna skip the other ones here for a minute. Runner J is some parts there in clear yellow. Runner I we have 2 of for our large beam effect parts here, the Wing of Light effect parts and beam saber parts and all that. So these are going to be like your standard beam saber runner material, which is a bit softer than your standard plastic there, which I think works well for the beam sabers. I think it would have been nice to have the actual like Wing of Light parts on a separate runner, which is just kind of your standard clear plastic rather than this. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I want to try these out under UV light and see how reactive they are. They do seem to light up pretty well. Not like super duper reactive, but they are lighting up under UV light. Looks pretty good. And then this one here, this is the one that I actually expected more of a reaction here, but it actually has less. So this, unfortunately, this iridescent clear blue here for the shield, not really very UV reactive. That's kind of unfortunate, but all right, let me go ahead and get the kit all built up and we'll check it out. Alright guys, and then here he is all built up. The kit looks great. As always with the MGSD line, I just love the design of these. The details, the color separation on them, everything looks great. I think the SD proportions really suit the Destiny Gundam. I talked about this during the live stream build. If you missed that, you can go back and check that out. But I really like how the wings pair with the body now just proportionally much better in this form than I think other forms of the Destiny Gundam. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that, whether you agree or not. But anyway, I think it's easy to agree that the kit looks great regardless, and we have some really cool accessories in here. Obviously it's got the sword and cannon there mounted on the backpack, but we've got some other great accessories in here as well as some really cool effect parts too. So let's go ahead and get into it, and we'll take a look at all that stuff first. And so as I said, those main weapons we've got there on the back, but other than that, as has been the case for the rest of the line, we don't have any other hand options. We just have the one set of hands that are on here. But just to mention about those, we've got articulated hands where the thumb is on a ball joint, the first finger is on a ball joint, and then the second, third, and fourth fingers are joined together, but they're not each on their own individual ball joint, which would mean that you could slice them apart. Unfortunately, we've got the three fingers connected on two ball joints there. So anyway, that's our only hand option here, and they look pretty good opened up. But the unfortunate thing is, just because of the way the fingers are molded, when the hands are closed, the fingers aren't like joined together, so they can look a bit odd if you're just trying to have the hand closed into what is essentially the closest thing that you can make to a fist with this. Anyway, then we do also have its beam rifle, and this is kind of cool in that we have some nice color separation with a little bit of red and light gray here. The camera part on the top can move side to side as normal. The handle can also move side to side, but then you also have a rotation point here in the handle as well, so you can have that off to the side. You can actually then rotate it a little bit to the front too for getting a nice good two-handed grip there on the rifle. So it's kind of nice little added feature. And then you can see we've got a little hard point right here, this peg. And that's going to be for plugging it up into this hard point here on the back skirt. That said, it's a little bit kind of hard to get to, navigating around the backpack and weapons and stuff here at the back. It's kind of a tight fit in there, but you can store the rifle there on the back skirt. And then we've got its shield here, which is just going to attach onto the side of the arm. Nice detail and color separation on this as well. This does open up, and you got that red part there inside. Looks really nice. This is just going to attach onto the side of the arm right there, onto that part pretty simply. But then of course we do also have the beam shield, and for that, that's going to basically come out of where we have this clear yellow part here. And how that typically works on other kits is you have to like take this part off and then put the beam shield on and then put that part back on top of the beam shield. But in this case, it's a little bit different in that this kind of expands out. I'm trying to just pop it out here like this, but it's not really working. So the way that it says to do it actually is to push it out from the inside. You're supposed to be able to just push it out like this, and the idea is for it to come out here like that, separated away from the hand cover gauntlet part there like so. And then we can take our beam shield part, and it should then just attach onto here like that. It's pretty solid connection there. I think that looks good and doesn't involve like part swapping. You don't have to actually take the part off, except I guess you did have to take the hand off. You could do it without taking the hand off, but I'll say it was a bit tricky to get that part popped off without taking the hand off. So anyway, but it looks really nice, and just like the scale overall I think is pretty good. It's a pretty nice size compared with the kit, so that looks nice. And then for the beam boomerangs up here in the arm, these have a pretty cool gimmick that locks them in place there. The top of the shoulder you have to lift up in order to kind of unlock that, and then you can slide this out of there easily, and then to put it back in you just pop it in there and press that down, and then it's securely there in the shoulder. It's kind of a nice feature. And then we've got two different options for the beam effect for that. So if you wanted it to be just more like a kind of standard beam sword, you've got this option here where it's just going to be like a longer straight blade there like that, or you've got the option of this kind of angled blade here like this, but you're going to use it as a throwing weapon, so you can have it throwing like that. Would have been cool if we had the whole like circular beam effect part like we saw with the Revenger bird kit, for example. And then of course we've got the big wing of light effect parts, which actually consist of like the main wing, and then there's an additional section which kind of goes in the top. So I do like the fact that they did that. They kind of separated it out, and it should make for an even better looking effect there for the wings, and we'll try that out here in just a minute. But the last of our accessories then just being the main weapons, which are stored here on the back. So the sword can be slipped out of the backpack here. And again, with this one, some really nice color separation there. You've got a couple points there in the handle where you can see where you can plug the tabs in the hands into the handle for a nice solid grip on that. And then this handle does also rotate here as well, so you should be able to get a good grip on that. The blade will of course then just fold out. It doesn't have any like a locking mechanism necessarily, but it folds out pretty securely. You've got this nice molded silver part there for the blade, and then we've got a beam effect here for this one as well. So down here at the hilt, these parts are going to fold out there like that. Our beam effect part is plugged in, and then it's going to look like that. It looks really nice, and again, it's pretty large as it's meant to be, but I mean, compared with the kit, of course, it's going to be a pretty big sword there. On the other side there, then our beam cannon, we've got a nice clear green part there for the camera for that. And this one as well is just going to fold out to its full length. We've got the main handle here, which will rotate out, and then you can swivel that to adjust the position of this, and this is also going to fit into the hand very nicely there. But this has a really cool gimmick here at the end where this part will actually open up, so that expands, the top and the bottom kind of expand out. Those are connected together. It'll expand out for when they're in use. So that's a really cool new gimmick here added for this version of the weapon. I do really like that a lot. So that's it for the main accessories, but just to take a closer look here at the kit, some really nice details of the clear green parts for the eyes and the head camera with some really nice detail inside both of those. Even here on the front of the jewel red part there, you've got the numbering and lettering molded in there. So just a lot of really nice detail here at the head especially, but all throughout the kit. It's just really, really nice in terms of the detail and the color separation and everything. And it's a little bit tricky to get to up in there, but the cockpit hatch does open up. And we do have like a molded detail of the cockpit inside there, which is really cool, but no actual seated pilot figure. So that's just kind of the standard for the line, but it is still a cool gimmick to have in there, even at this smaller size, kind of smaller scale. But here in the torso, we've also got some really nice articulation, forward and back bend. At the forward bend, you can see we've got a couple of joints that allow for a really full torso bend there to the front, probably more than you would ever really want or need, but you've got it there in case you wanted a very extreme bend there at the abdomen. This front section of the waist armor will also extend out to the front a little bit there like that, just to get that out of the way when you're doing your far to the front ab crunch there like so. The back skirts, like the front skirts then too, are also individually articulated, and underneath the skirt bits you've got some nice detail up inside there. And one thing you'll notice up underneath the waist section is where's the hard point or where's the adapter for plugging this onto an action base. They've actually really cleverly hidden it up underneath this vent here in the backpack, so the action base is going to connect to the base of the underside of the backpack here. So actually you lift up that vent, and up inside there is our hard point for plugging this onto an action base for displaying it. And it's definitely going to be a good idea to have an action base with this kit. I mean, obviously with the Wings of Light, and then everything else, you're just gonna want an action base with this one, I think. But you notice this flap here also moves up and down a little bit on the backpack. While we're here, just these connection arms here for the weapons also have a couple different sections here with individual articulation points there for those. And then for the wings, this black part lifts up, the red part lifts up, and that smaller bit of the Wing of Light goes in this top part here, and then the main part obviously in this section kind of between the main opening of the wings. And that is going to open up pretty wide there for the backpack and feels like a pretty strong connection. There's not a lot of room for that to move basically between the body and these connection arms for the weapons, but there is some articulation there if you wanted to have that more kind of a little bit further back at an angle or a little bit further forward, just kind of like straight perpendicular to the body. Kind of, there's a little bit of wiggle room there for movement. And then the arms and legs, the articulation on those is going to be really nice, pretty standard. We've got a double joint at the elbow and the knee. That'll give you a really nice full bend there at the elbow. And here the wrist joint is kind of interesting because you just got your regular wrist, but then you've got an additional joint here at like the base of the forearm. So that's going to allow the hand to kind of bend further in like that. This flap here at the back also lifts up, but then opening up the hand and bending this back, you can bend it really far back there like that. And then this tab here on the inside, that's the tab that you're going to use to plug into the weapon handles. But if you flip that back here like that, you've got the detail of what is meant to be like the beam emitter that the Destiny has there in his hand, which is pretty cool. So you've got that really nice hand and like slash wrist joint detail in here for doing that effect. Is really cool. And then down here at the legs, this flap here at the back will move up and down a little bit there. And like I said, we've got a double joint in the knee with some really nice knee armor separation between those parts there, which is kind of a lot more than you might expect for this little stubby little leg. It doesn't look like it might do a whole lot. There's a lot of nice color separation there, but it is pretty interesting to see just how nicely those armor parts separate when you bend the knee like that there. It looks really, really good. That's going to continue down here onto the feet as well. You got a little bit of a separate toe bend aside from the whole front half of the foot being able to move separately. So that's really nice. And then up underneath the feet, some really nice detail there as well. And one more thing, just to kind of end this segment where we began, up at the head, there's a kind of cool feature here with the neck as well that you're able to, you got a double joint here in the neck that will allow you to bend the head up really nice and far for doing like flying poses like that. To have the head to be able to move that far upward is really nice. And the cool thing about that is that there's this bit here that's going to be easier to show you if I remove the head from the kit. Also, you can see that clear part there, the clear green part at the back head camera, that also looks nice. But here, the way that the ball joint plugs into the base of the head, when you move the head up and that ball joint moves up, it actually tucks in this armor bit there at the back of the head as well. So that will move together with the ball joint, so that basically hides that up inside there so that you can get the head up higher for a better articulation of the neck. So it's a really cool little kind of hidden gimmick, but it's very effective in being able to get the head up nice and high for those flying poses. So it's awesome. So yeah, guys, as we wrap up the review then here, taking a look at the kit in some poses, I will say it's another awesome kit in this line. I really, really enjoy the MGSD line, and I hope that you guys do as well. If you've still not tried out the line, what are you doing? I mean, you got to try it out. Even if you're not a big fan of the Destiny Gundam, you do have a number of choices that are available now in the line. It's still pretty new, still pretty fresh, but it is expanding. And then we have the Kshatriya that's going to be coming out here not too long in the future. We should have that kit out, and I'm really looking forward to that, just because I love the Kshatriya design, but also just because it's going to be the first in the line from UC, which will be interesting. So anyway, with this kit, I think it's awesome. It comes with everything that you could possibly want for it. It's great that the Wing of Light effect parts were included. I don't know if there's going to be like some Bandai set or something that maybe has like better looking versions, more like iridescent or coated versions of like the Wing of Light effect parts. I mean, with this, it's cool that they're included and they're really nice. They're just kind of like a basic like clear reddish pink or whatever though. So I don't know, there might be like more sparkly versions coming out as like Gundam based limited versions of this kit, or Bandai versions or something like that. But anyway, you've got basically everything you could want here in this kit, other than an action base, which I would highly recommend picking up with this as well. But otherwise, I think you'd be very happy with this kit. A ton of great detail, wonderful color separation and part separation with these. Every time after I build an MGSD kit, I always just feel like I really want to paint this kit, just because they're so like paint friendly, just very easy kits to paint. And they look fantastic. Even if you don't paint them, they look fantastic, just beautiful right out of the box. I mean, just do a little panel lining, add some top coat on there, and you'd be good to go. But I mean, they just look really good painted as well. And so every time with these, it never fails. I just start thinking like, oh man, this would look really good in these colors or whatever. Just because, as I was saying before, I think the Destiny Gundam looks really good in this style, and I just think that I would love to try out some custom colors on this. It would be a lot of fun. So I don't know, it's something that I'll work on whenever I get the chance. But for now, guys, that's gonna just about do it for the review. If you have any further questions or comments, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. And of course, if you guys want to check out the kit for yourself, you can do so at the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got this and a lot of other great stuff there on the site, so check all that out. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you're not yet subscribed, you can subscribe there as well. I really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much. Until next time, hope you all are doing well. See you guys later. Bye-bye.